guys, Mig here with Caffeinated Gaming, and I wanted to give you my impressions on CoD Mobile, Call of Duty on the iPhone, and other iOS devices for that matter. And honestly, it was a pleasant surprise. It was a pleasant surprise, honestly, for those that are classic players who are in need of a fix while waiting for the latest entry in the series. But, you know, it could also become a game you put a couple matches into every day because of its slick customizable controls, clever reuse of popular maps, and a not as gotcha of a system as I originally thought. So let's first start with the graphics. If I told you back during the heyday on the 360 that we'd be replaying maps like Nuketown and Crossfire on our phones within a couple years, you probably would have thought I was crazy, but here we are. These maps are timeless and provide insane amounts of flanking points without hurting on the visual quality. Some details have been removed, but the key geometry is still all there, meaning you can flank around that helicopter and crash, and you can see and shoot through the windows. Although for cars, it's unfortunately a different story. You can shoot through them, but you can't really see through them, but they blow up all the same. They all maintain themselves pretty well on a 6-inch display. What might ultimately suffer graphically here is having skins for weapons you won't really be looking at all because of the size of the screen. But honestly, you won't really be looking at them all that much, but we'll discuss that in a moment. Outside of all the nostalgia pull of being able to play these maps again accurately and to scale is a new Battle Royale map called Isolated. Essentially, it shrinks down the Blackout experience to a mobile experience, and it provides a great amount of space and buildings to hide in, as well to collect, your weapons and your health. Now about sound. And I do not want to understate this, but COD's sound in this game, for COD Mobile, the sound design is spectacular. There were several times over this past week that I've been playing it and I've encountered moments where I could hear an enemy approaching around the building and be able to take a position up to, flank them, or, just wait for them to turn a corner, or sometimes just to hear them shift and stop above me to know that they're probably camping upstairs to snipe. These times included a final kill for a match and a final kill in my only Battle Royale.
Recon is standing by. Repeat, UAV recon is standing by.
Chip terminal is almost ready.
And as you can see in this replay, I was actually able to locate them quite fast. Maybe a fraction of a second. This is something that I may have had an advantage with by playing on an iPhone XS Max because of the speaker quality. So to play it safe, I also confirmed that the sound quality remains the same on AirPods and other headphones. And I can confirm that it does. All the guns sound as they should, with only a minimal distortion during a couple of explosions and massive firefights. So let's say you had a couple of guns firing at the same time, maybe an explosion of a car or two. This typically, honestly, I see it happen more on Nuketown than anything else, but it's not that bad. Now, honestly, the fact is, the biggest thing that I wanted to point out with the sound was the whole part about hearing footsteps and hearing ambient sound around you. Just being able to hear those footsteps and gunfire in the distance is probably the best experience I've had on a phone, especially considering I played stuff like Fortnite and PUBG and immediately got turned off by it. So, take that with a grain of salt. you might have a competitive advantage here with a better product. But honestly, as far as this is concerned, it's not a big deal. If we're gonna wear headphones, you're probably gonna get the same sound experience. Now, as far as the controls, you know, I just want to point out that with the controls, you don't have any controller access, even though in my case on iOS 13, you're supposed to have Bluetooth controller support now for both PlayStation and Xbox controllers, amongst others. So it's really weird that they've omitted this for the worldwide launch, rather. But at the same time, the touchscreen controls are actually very surprising, and they actually made me feel a little more accurate in gunfights than even a mouse could have. And I have a real hard time maybe wanting to go back to a controller now. My left thumb controls the movement, like most other games, but the farther up the screen you go, it actually increases the amount of speed you're running, and you can actually lock it into a sprint with an additional icon that shows itself once you push farther up the screen. Now, there is a little bit of a weird mechanic there where you can also aim down sights while sprinting, which is the target on the right side of the screen. And what that'll do, that'll make you move constantly, but also very slowly. So if you're turning a corner and you're not sure if someone's there, this might be your best strategy to stay mobile while being able to aim down the sights. And there's also pretty much buttons for everything else. There's an operator class weapon, which for the most part I've been using a flamethrower. That's in the top right of the screen. There's also an arc line for your grenades. That's, you know, I thought I would never see that in the CoD, honestly. And there's also easy toggles for your weapons at the bottom. And knives as well. So once you get close enough to somebody, the knife icon will appear, and you can just tap that instead to, you know, cause a melee strike. These type of things make the game really easy to play, and honestly, really enjoyable. Now, the automatic weapons definitely have some advantages, as you can lead your target, or also move with your target as you're firing with your right thumb. Burst weapons like a shotgun are a lot more of a challenge, as close quarters combat just doesn't really bring out the strong suit of touch controls. But this is a problem I think any game would have. To be fair, I tried a couple rounds with a shotgun, and I thought it was pretty decent. At least I went even the round that I used it. Sniper rifles, honestly, never been my strong suit, but I've seen people even figure out how to quickscope in this game, which is honestly amazing.
Enemy UAV spotted.
A further update in the future from Activision or Tencent on this aspect. I think it would work a lot better if you get the controller support, guys. Please work on that. And then I can play on a bigger screen. And the reason I don't recommend it is because I do think that brings down the fun factor. And about the fun factor, honestly, it's Call of Duty.
Friendly Predator missile inbound.
Sniper eliminated!
And if you love Call of Duty, especially the Golden Era, then this COD mobile game can only make you happy. The games are fast-paced, as it's an intended design of Call of Duty in general. They make you want to move around and not hide. They give you games that end at 50 kills instead of 75, as is tradition. There's also ways to play together in multiplayer using things like Facebook as a friends list. And there's even ranked play after level 10. And clans! You know, honestly, when I saw clans, I was kind of weirded out. But hey, you know what? We've created a Cafecito Crew clan. If you'd like to play with us, thumbs up this video at the end and comment below so we can set that up with you. The important thing is that I can actually see myself playing a couple rounds of this every day. And, you know, I can see myself being able to play this free title, you know? Which leads to another sensitive topic. A lot of people have this thing where they don't want to play anything that has microtransactions in it. And so, as a special focus, especially for a mobile review like this, we want to talk about the gacha. I know Gio talked about the gacha in Mario Kart, where he pretty much said that you could buy characters, and in that game, that would actually mean that you would get multiple items for driving through one of the item boxes on the track. That's kind of whack. Now, CoD is not like that, but there are things to it. So it's a free title, and none of the modes or maps are paywalled off. So in this sense, it's incredible to get 7, 8 maps, especially iconic maps like Nuketown and Crash, and a completely redesigned Blackout map built into a free-to-play mobile title. Honestly, it's pretty good. Other games like PUBG and Fortnite are literally just a battle royale, and so we know they exist, but they also have these other extra features, sets, and multiplayer. I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense. It's a lot more of a complete experience for a free title. But that being said, you do appear to have to pay for unlocks for more class slots. You only get 2 to start, and it kind of starts tinkering away at with that temptation. Every time you log in, they remind you about this damn season pass, and it never ceases to not advertise itself when you launch. Even if you literally launched, played a match, turned it off, and turned it back on, you will be greeted with this $24.99 season pass. It's just not a cute price point, and I get for the amount of content I'm getting, I should be happy, but you shouldn't counteract the goodwill you create by creating this game with the 8 maps and the multiplayer, different modes, battle royale, but then drop a $24.99 season pass. That's like, I would have actually probably copped for a $10 pass, which is the standard across most games. Rocket League and Fortnite definitely in that realm of the $10 to $15 season pass that for some reason Activision doesn't want to be a part of. 25 is a lot, and if it's only a 3-month season, we're talking about spending $100 a year for a mobile title just to get some extra bonus rewards. And let me be here to tell you that you don't need this stuff. You really don't. As long as you play well, which if you're honestly a classic COD player, you're going to be wrecking people for the first couple of levels and wonder if you became a god at the game. That slows down, let me tell you. The matchmaking is actually quite solid, and they only make sure that you match up with players within 2 to 3 levels of your rank. And honestly, if you get there as fast as I did, you kind of see that steep curve where all of a sudden everyone starts playing pretty much like you do, and you kind of like resort back down to the median of what you were on like a console COD back in the day. So honestly, you unlock weapons and attachments very fast. You can install up to 4 attachments, so your gun, you can level up a gun all the way, get all the attachments, and move on to another gun. And they actually give you really good guns to start out. They give you an M4, which is a very solid weapon. And then the second weapon I ended up getting was the AK-74U. And honestly, both these guns, once you get your attachments on it, and even before that, as long as you're, tinkering with your sensitivity, get all that stuff in gear, because there is a very hefty set of customizable features in this game and the settings as well. So if you feel like you're turning too fast, go and turn that sensitivity down. If you want your game to look better and you do have let's say a 1%er device like a 10s Max or an 11 or a Samsung Note, one of those type of phones, then go ahead and up those graphics and up your frame rates. Do what you want to do to make this experience even better for yourself, because it's all there, and that stuff's not paywall. So I can tell you, you really don't have to do any of the paywall stuff. You do definitely get a lot more as far as rewards per level, but this goes back to the thing I was talking about, the graphics, where you get all these things, but you can't really look at them. So unless it's a weapon and it gives you a tangible, difference as far as gameplay, which you'll unlock enough guns to not have to worry about that, you should be fine. Now, I guess without going too much further, let's just go to a conclusion here. So honestly, I would recommend COD Mobile. I'm a COD fan. I've been playing since Modern Warfare. Being able to see these maps on a tiny screen but still be very vivid and high in detail, be able to kill people through the windows, there's a lot of great mechanics here It's very satisfying. And if you're a fan of first-person shooters and you want to fix on the go, then I recommend this. Classic maps allow you, as a Golden Era player, to jump in without being lost. That's a good thing to point out too, that you don't have to relearn some of these maps. If you played back in the day, you know exactly where all the nooks and crannies are. That's why I love Nuketown, getting to hide in this one nook. I actually always do that once. At least I go to, I believe it's the south side of the map, and there's one little nook in a bush. I hide there for a little bit just to see how many people run by before they realize. The map is there, so you still have your indicators when fire goes off to look for enemies and things like that. And, you know, despite the lack of controller support, which I assume is going to come in an update, and this aggressive pricing model for the season pass, which, you know, you could justify if you put enough time into it to justify it as a tip, which is my personal belief system in microtransactions like this. If you play a game enough, like a Rocket League or this CoD mobile title, then, you know, tip the developer that season pass money. And, you know, play through the season and see if it's worth it. And if you really like the experience and you like the idea of getting all that extra stuff, then keep going. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm just telling you that it's not pay to win. And that's the important thing here. So, if I have to give this a score, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. And well, guys, thanks for watching this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe at the bottom of the YouTube page here. And let us know if there are any other mobile titles that you want us to try out, just so you can get our opinion on it, as we are getting to the holidays and we know that you guys need some opinions on what to buy. Well, once again, thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. Peace.
Reloading! Sniper down! Get down! Sniper!